Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Josh, and as always, we're here today to talk about personal finance and investing and all these different topics like this. And over the past year or so, it's been pretty obvious that one of the big things on everybody's mind, it happens every time there's a run-up in price, is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and all these things that are going on with this new fake or imaginary money that everybody's dealing with. And I say that kind of in a derogatory way, but it is really cool what's going on with cryptocurrency. But last week, we actually saw a substantial correction in the price of Bitcoin. I don't think it was even last week, honestly. I think this was like late April, which would be last week, April 22nd or 23rd, something like that. It was rumored, it came out that there might be an 80% capital gains tax on cryptocurrency investments under the Biden administration's new tax plan. And you might be thinking, holy crap, is this communism? And the answer is, well, yes.
But the Green Deal for Public Housing does is that it's not just, it actually isn't just about centering.
Yes, it is, and communism is very expensive. That's something good for you to learn, kids. As much as you love communism, it's going to be quite expensive for you. And you know what else is actually quite expensive in addition to communism is not hitting the like button. So, fellow comrades, make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe so that you can see my skin tone change week over week as the sun comes out and I spend way more time outside than attending to the chaos around me in my life and my business. But let's get back to cryptocurrency. An 80% tax on cryptocurrency gains? Well, okay, we have to discuss a few things here first. And okay, 80% does sound pretty insane, and it is, but the reality is that's a capital gains tax. So if you're not already familiar with that, there's many different types of tax, when we earn income throughout our day-to-day lives. Whether you're working at 7-Eleven or you're pumping gas or you're the CEO of Amazon, you're gonna have to pay some taxes on your income. There's a different type of tax called capital gains tax, and this is what you pay when you sell something for a higher amount of money than you bought it for. So if you bought a bunch of Bitcoin for like 100 grand and now it's worth 200 grand, you have a $100,000 gain there if you sell, right? Because you're taking the sale price minus what you bought for, there's a $100,000 gain. Now, what a capital gain tax does is it only takes half of that gain and adds it to your taxable income. Typically, that's why they call it a 50% capital gains tax or a 50% inclusion rate, because 100,000 of that gain, we'd take 50% of that, which is 50,000, and we'd add that to your taxable income along with all the other stuff you made as the 7-Eleven cashier. Now, all of that being said, we are now looking at a rumored, okay, this isn't confirmed yet, but a rumored scenario where this inclusion rate could go up to 80%. And what that means is that person with a $100,000 cryptocurrency capital gain now needs to include 80% of that gain on their income taxes. So they would have to put $80,000. If you take, let's say, the top marginal tax bracket of 50%, that means you're losing 40 grand to taxes, right? And 80% inclusion means you're probably losing about 40% of the overall gain. So if someone were to sell for 200,000, they would immediately have to pay $40,000 to the government. And that is absolutely insane. Now, you might be thinking, what really would happen in this instance? Well, what we saw with the price is that it took a massive tumble right off the hop because people start to think, whoa, if I could get it out now for free and convert it to cash while these rules aren't in place, maybe I could get some money off the table and actually have some purchasing power before taxes destroy everything. But here's something that's really on my mind is the fact that cryptocurrencies and this whole movement towards decentralized currency and decentralized finance, it's all about decentralization. It's all about getting power into the hands of the people rather than a government who can manipulate currency supply and all sorts of things like that. Now, if these people are pretty keen on a lot of these people maybe lean libertarian, they're very pro-freedom, they want to have their currency where they have control of it, maybe these people are very okay to just get up and leave. Isn't that the whole point of cryptocurrency? The fact that you really can't trace where it goes and maybe you can evade a country with all of your crypto intact, right? I mean, if we think about this for a second, there's about $1 trillion in Bitcoin. That's the overall market cap, the price of the coin times the amount of coins outstanding. And okay, bear with me here, but I'm gonna make an assumption. About 30% of the world's wealth is in America. About 30% of all the financial capital and wealth is in the United States of America. So if we can assume that about 30% of all crypto wealth is in America. I mean, that is a pretty broad assumption, but I think it's a reasonable one, okay? That means that $300 billion of Bitcoin is local to USA. It's owned by people who live in America. And if we get to a point where there's an 80% capital gains inclusion on American withdrawals of cryptocurrency or sales of cryptocurrency, that might be enough for people to leave, right? Because all of a sudden $300 billion, we take away 40% of that and it becomes $180 billion. That's $120 billion in the US economy that would just leave through a tax. So you might think, well, aren't these people just going to maybe leave if that's the impact this is going to have? And that might very well be the case. So is this really going to happen? Is it going to be a case where, you know, Janet Yellen and Joe Biden come out and decide, okay, we're having an 80% capital gains inclusion on cryptocurrency? I'm going to say probably not. But if it did, what I think that does is it creates the opportunity for another country, you know, say India, who's had currency troubles and has some other troubles right now as well. You maybe have someone in Asia or different countries who could actually adopt cryptocurrency in a way that's favorable for their citizens to use it. You could see a new country rise by adopting this technology and actually being friendly towards it. So I think there is a massive advantage out there on the table for any other country who were to decide that, you know what, if the United States is going to penalize all these people and all this technology and this innovation, why wouldn't we accept it here and have this influx of new wealth and new capital into our economy where we can grow things and actually create a sustainable country based on this new advantage that we have? So anyways, those are my thoughts today on cryptocurrency and what's going on with an 80% capital gains rate. That sounds obscene. Whenever you hear 80% tax in anything, it kind of freaks me out. So I want to know what you guys think. If you, let's say, for instance, had $1 million or $2 million in cryptocurrency because you bought really low back in 2015 or 2016, and all of a sudden that was going to become worth 40% less, would you consider moving to a different country? I want to know. Please comment below so I can get an accurate depiction of what people are actually thinking. Would you leave? Would you stay? What do you think about this whole tax? So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed the video, like I said, make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on post notifications for more videos just like this one every single week. Until next time.